Hi everyone, I'm Kyle from Florida Studio Theater, and today we are going to talk about our next ingredient in the play, the setting. Every play needs a setting. A setting tells us where and when the play takes place. A setting can be real or imaginary. Let's start with a real setting. A real setting can be anywhere you could think you could go in the world. For example, a 4th grade classroom in the middle of the day during a spelling test. See how that tells us where we are, a 4th grade classroom, and when we are, in the middle of the afternoon during a spelling test. A good setting has both where and when. Now what I'd like you to do is get out a pencil and a piece of paper. If you already started writing your ideas for characters down on a piece of paper, you can do this writing exercise right below it. I'm going to play some writing music for you to think, and I want you to write down 2 or 3 ideas for real settings that include both where and when, and write them down on your paper. Teachers, if your students need more time to think, feel free to pause the video and come back when everyone is ready to move on. All done? Awesome! Here are some examples other playwrights have thought of in the past for real settings. One playwright came up with a jungle late at night, and another, a kitchen at breakfast time. Those are just some examples of real settings. I'm sure you already have some fantastic ideas written down on your paper. Now, let's think of some imaginary settings. An imaginary setting is anywhere you could dream up, anywhere you might want to go in your wildest dreams. For example, Chocolate World at midnight, or inside your stomach before Thanksgiving dinner. Both of those settings tell us where and when and require some serious imagining to think up. Now I'm going to play some writing music, and I want you to write down 2 or 3 ideas for imaginary settings that include both where and when. Great job! I bet you have some fantastic ideas for imaginary settings. Some imaginary settings that I have loved from Young Playwrights in the past include the faraway village of Nogard early in the morning, and inside a crayon box during art class. Now that you've brainstormed and written down so many creative ideas for settings, it's time to pick one for your play. Where and when is your play going to take place? Keep in mind the characters you chose in the first lesson. Where might they live or visit? For example, Caroline chose a cheetah and a wise old tree for her characters and said they live in the jungle. So I'm going to choose the jungle for my setting, although I could have just as easily have chosen space or an imaginary planet named Bleep Bloop. Your setting is totally up to you. But for my example, I'm sticking with the jungle. And I want to include both where and when my play takes place, so I'm going with the jungle early in the morning. Now, it's your turn to pick the setting of your play. Go ahead and write down both where and when your play is going to take place. have it? Awesome! You have the first two ingredients of your play. You have your characters and your setting. Give yourselves a big round of applause. And now it's time to move on to our next lesson, conflict.